everybody, welcome back to the Sketchcraft Shout-Out. Today we're going to be talking about Slaine, the Horn God by Simon Bisley. This is a recommended pick from Uncle Jerk from Jerk Comics. Say hello, Uncle Jerk.
What is up, Uncle Jerk? No, how's it going, boils and ghouls? I hope everybody is doing good today. Today we're doing like my first pick. Rob was like, "Hey man, do you have any suggestions?" I was Slaine. Like, okay, do you have any other Slaine? I want to do Slaine. Can we talk about Slaine, please? It's like, yeah, I guess. So now we're gonna look at some badass Simon Bisley at his prime. This is like when Pat Mills is ruling 2000 AD. Everything is firing on all cylinders. Like, it's just after ABC Warriors, V for Vendetta. I mean, this is it, guys. And Slaine's been kind of a cluster over the years, but there is an anniversary edition, reshot, all from the original art, published at the at an oversized treasury edition. You get it for like $40 list. So I was like, we're looking at some Slaine, the Horn God, because it finally got the proper treatment. And I'm stoked to show this to you, even though I do probably assume, I didn't think about it at the time, Rob's probably going to have to do some fairly heavy lifting with black bars for dongs in this, now that I think about it. If you are not a fan, if you're one of those guys who's like, why did Frank Miller do 300? I'm really uncomfortable reading this comic. Don't get fucking Slaine. You will be much more uncomfortable. It would be as though Frank Miller rendered 300 dongs. So
I feel like that's a great parody waiting to be made. 300 dongs, right? So with that being said, give us a brief history. Just a brief overview. What is this about generally? What are we going to be looking at? Right?
Okay.
What frame of reference we have here?
So Slaine is kind of interesting. Like I said, he came around, I think 1981. No, it's 1983, not 1981. I'm sorry. And Pat Mills came up with the character with his wife, Angela, actually. And the early stuff was done by a couple of guys, but the dude that most everybody probably knows is Mike McMahon, who did a bunch of stuff, I mean, wicked stuff on Judge Dredd. And this is kind of where he moved into Judge Dredd from. And Glenn Fabry did some work on the series. Simon Bisley did some stuff. Simon Davis did some stuff. I know there's just a ton of guys who have come through and worked on Slaine. Basically what Slaine is like 2000 AD's answer to Conan the Barbarian in a lot of ways. The big twist here, because there is a lot of Conan and just Robert E. Howard canon stuff in general thrown in here, there is a series of Irish folk tales. The Ulster cycle, I believe, is the name of it, Chuchulean or something like Chuchulan, I think is the name of the main guy from it. And a lot of the story elements that don't come from Conan are basically this Irish Ulster cycle. I'm pretty sure it's called the Ulster cycle. It's Irish mythology thing.
What's up, crafties? Spawn kills every spawn, drawn by yours truly, out on shelves now. Issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, and issue 4, all on the stands. Local comic book shop, you can get them, as well as Amazon, everything else. Plus, on December 18th, 2024, issue 5 drops. Oh my gosh, look, I already have it. It's ahead of time. I got it early for the Christmas season, but December 18th, you can grab it too. And don't forget, if you look on eBay and around, you'll be able to find the Spawn Kills Every Spawn sketch cover. I might even have a few on my store soon with some commissions and drawings and stuff. So go in there. And don't forget about the limited to 500 San Diego Comic Con exclusive edition Spawn Kills Every Spawn issue 1, featuring my line arts. Wouldn't it be cool if they had done all these as secondary covers? But hey, go bother Todd about it. In the meantime, if you want to support me, help pay the bills, please, folks, go to your comic book shop, pick up some spawn kills every spawn. All right, and now back to the show.
So like Slaine can do this body transformation thing where instead of like fighting Crom like Conan does, he submits to the power of Crom. So it makes him into this berserker like war druid guy. There's a I think it's called like the war spasm. His axe is known as the brain biter. That is his favorite weapon. Obviously that's not Irish, like that's more like Norse or Viking, so you get some stuff from there. But like one of the things that I like most about this series is that a lot of the stuff is like literal weird, like mescaline driven translations of like traditional Irish mythology being like completely hammered into like Conan the Barbarian, sword and sorcerer, adventurer type style storytelling. Slaine's had some really awesome artists over the years, but like guys, and I'm telling you, like this is the digital edition that I had because my camera sucks and I just could not get it to look right. I wasn't spending 2 hours setting up a camera like Rob does, so I wanted to show you guys this digital copy.
That's fine, folks. Not everything's gonna be a physical book, you know what I mean? Like,
but I do like have it sitting literally like right next to me. Right. I'm like, this thing is amazing. It's like this. It's bigger than it's monstrous. It's the size of my chest.
Let me tell you, like right off the bat, like these colors, like this red to purple thing right here, dude. These creams, super good, dude. Like this.
10,000 times better in the new edition. Like if you think this looks good, it is so dull and muted like, and looks like crap.
I also like this, the blue, the purples, you know.
Isn't it the softness to that page compared to like all these other harsh lines and stuff?
And the atmospherics back here too, right? Like you can see.
Dude. This is Bisley firing on all cylinders. I really honestly don't know.
This right here is, pound. You know, Uncle Ewan again, like on Instagram, exactly, dude, right? Like 100%, right? Like,
and to be fair, like Ewan did a study of like at least 2 or 3 Bisley pieces. He's a monstrous.
He's so good. He's so good.
But
we'll
like
have to highlight his work sometime. He's a monster.
Yeah, I've got some really cool. I'll dig up some of my like more obscure Simon Bisley stuff, and we can go and look at some of his like dalliances into other stuff.
You always know they're proud of a page when they sign it, right? So this is dope. Now this is like, see here's where I think it's a little unfair, like because I think this is awesome. But then you get like guys who are like, Stephen Platt's Anatomy wasn't so great in 1994. I'm like, no, it was this. You know, it was just pen and ink versus painted, you know? But it's not that big a difference, you know?
The difference, I would say, is that in probably 60% of Splat's panel, now I say this with fucking love in my heart. 60% of Splat's panels, look at that freaking page. God, can you imagine turning that painting in as a part of a page in an anthology series?
This is right up there with, you know what this reminds me of is like when they would do those softer lens and cloud effects like in Poltergeist, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Like in Ghostbusters, you know? But like, yeah.
And this is 1987 and 1989. This is all published when 2080 is still anthology stuff. So he's like, you know, putting this stuff out and really getting a chance to like take his time. You see these like, normally you would never see Bisley do a 9-panel grid page, but look how good this 9-panel grid page is.
You think some of this texturing right here is like saran wrap? Like
I don't know, man. Like I've often wondered if it was like paint that he let dry and then he went at with some sort of like palette scraper or blade or something. But yeah, I mean, that's totally possible.
I mean, this is profit, right? This is where they're just like,
oh yeah,
right?
sorry. So getting back to Splat, like I
Right?
would say at least 60% of his panels, the anatomy doesn't work. It's just not right. And it's cool because he uses it for dynamic effect. And the argument I would say there is that he did do splash pages for every page. Simon Bisley isn't doing that. Simon Bisley in this, the anatomy probably works 80% of the time, and then like 20% of the time he's doing like a big splash page like that, and he warps stuff.
This is so Henson Labyrinth to me, like this
Dude,
right here.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's
We're just gonna jump around, folks. We're just gonna. There's like 200 something pages here, so
210 pages. Right. I think it's a $45 list, all reshot from the original art. So again, if you think this looks like approaching decent, like pick up the new book, please, for the love of God.
Look, now, right? Look
at and like Jason Sean Alexander, like I see a lot of his stuff in that. Like, oh my God, dude.
I love these boars, dude. These boars are super dope.
And that's a big thing that like
to me, this right here, this kind of Alex Nino bit, Yeah.
Right. Yes, dude. Totally. And Sam Keith lifted a lot of like using like designs and frontispieces as parts of illustration too.
That's a sick board, dude.
Damn, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's just like
this close up to this helmet.
His use of like abstract backgrounds and like these really bizarre color palettes juxtaposed against his like super detailed painting is like really on par here, or on just fleek here. You know what I'm saying?
I like that expression. It's pretty dope.
I love the texture behind her arm again. It's like in that black splatter. You get this
splatter. Super
I mean, just this book just looked amazing. Like he was coming in after Mick McMahon and like Fabry and like just Clint Langley, like all these like heavy hitters, dude. And like Bisley had something to prove with this story, which is not something that I think happened often with him outside of his line work comic books.
Would have been interesting to see this era Bisley tackle Highlander, right? Like honestly, there's a version, right, where like that Highlander 2, the quickening never gets made, and they just hit Bisley up to do all the production boards, like the way Ralph McQuarrie did for Star Wars,
So like a universe where that movie doesn't suck. Continue.
We get like Henson teams up with was it Macaulay, whatever the director is, right?
Oh yeah.
And you get like this sword and sorcery. Like, look at that. That is dope. These greens too, like these greens and reds,
Everything about it, dude. And like, as far as I know, this is the stuff that like Keith Giffen saw, where he like immediately got on the phone and called up Simon Bisley and was like, look, dude, we've got this Lobo character, but he sucks. The design sucks. I know there's a good character here. Like, can you come and do something? And you got that Lobo mini. But he was doing he only got to paint those covers. He was having to do line work. So like, prime Bisley, you don't get to see a lot of painted interiors. You can see like
this right here. Go ahead. This acid green, right? This like, yeah.
But I would say, like, to be very fair, that panel right there is a great example of like when his anatomy doesn't work. Some of those figures are just wrong. Like he's painting realistically and they look so stiff and anatomically incorrect. It does happen.
That all being said, it's kind of right out of those tapestry, like
exactly what it is.
And like religious, ornamental figure work, so
I think he tried to lean into it and make it look purposeful, but you can tell sometimes it's not. But goddamn, can you imagine? Like, dude, that's part of a page of a comic that you're doing.
I'm kind
Part
of
of the
shocked though,
page.
man, that no one's ever translated this to like a 3D video game. You
Yeah.
know?
Slaine is like really has always been ripe for translation. Because for me, again, like it has kind of taken off again.
You imagine
For
you
any-
can do these palettes now in real time, like, you know, like you could get somewhere between procedural generated shader work and hand painted textures. You know?
You could, yeah.
Yeah.
Slaine has really pushed away from that, unfortunately. If you guys want to learn more about the character and the creation and the history and stuff, I did a really cool interview with Pat Mills where we talk about nothing but martial law, because he's actually got a book out called Kiss My Axe, and it is all about the history of Slaine. And a lot of it does talk about this Bisley period, because this is like 3 years.
This is tricky because a lot of these kinds of blues are pigmented and they're out of print gamut, you know?
Yeah.
So like a lot of these colors, like when you see them in real life, I'm certain these reds are a little bit more brighter and deeper.
Oh, they're the best thing about the new
stuff.
you can see the differences in the reds there. And like the best thing about the new edition is they shot them multiple times, as far as I know, when needed, to achieve those proper blues and the proper reds on the same panel.
Yeah, with that sort of thing, you need to go to like an actual plated press where you can spot some stuff, you know, or actually get, you know, real mixed paint, because digital reproduction really will limit. Toner will only go so far.
God,
with some of this stuff. Yeah, this box stuff is great. Just using the pencil in a way to transparent, you know.
Yeah.
The lack.
I mean, the immediacy and the brilliance of this, like you also are seeing like the emergence, in my opinion, the emergence of like a very heavy Richard Corbin influence in Simon Bisley's color palette that builds and builds and builds throughout Slaine.
I would say too, if you were an indie developer, man, you know, like for a video game indie developer, and you wanted to make a name for yourself, translate this to just, you know, an open, even it doesn't have to be even 3D, even like a 2D Metroidvania, you know. Like
I guarantee you get something decent together. Like Pat will listen to you. He loves working with people. He owns Slaine. He would love to see this stuff adapt. And that's one of the things that sucks about like Slaine having such a limited like shelf life and appeal to a lot of people, because like what I would call the translations, like the American publications, the collections and stuff, haven't always been the best quality or available. Really sucks, because this is just, I mean,
I can see this being some really great like album art, you know what I mean?
He was doing album art,
right?
Like maybe 3 years before this, tops.
Yeah, because I love this combination of greens with these spot reds and stuff. Very tricky to do red and green. You can end up in Christmas territory fast, you know. But
yeah.
He knows how to lean into that pink though. I don't. God.
Yeah, see, and that page right there, that like actually I have for many years I have maintained that is the Prophet and the Lobo homage done by Sam Keith and Splat respectively. If you know the one I'm talking about, I think it's Prophet 5 where he's like chained up, and Lobo's Back 3 by Sam Keith where he's like chained up. Like I have long maintained that they are
that issue, the Vietnam flashback where he's fighting the Nazis and then he goes to Vietnam.
Is it 5? Dang it, maybe I'm wrong. It's 3. It's one where he's got his arms shackled and those like tube things above his head.
Oh yeah, the Keith cover. Yeah, I got.
Well, yeah, that's the Lobo one, but Splat did a Prophet cover that was an homage of that cover.
I have that Prophet. I have that. I'm looking at it right now. It's on my wall.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. That was
so to me, like I've long maintained, you know, we were talking about Splat, and I have long maintained like
right up here in the arms and stuff. Yeah. like just like this right, the underpaint. This is what I love about underpainting. You know, when you do the underpaint and then you use a semi-transparent, you know, less opaque wash of blues over it, you just get all those undercolors, you know. It's something that you don't get in image style, like glossy coloring, right? I call like hi-fi colors and stuff. Like you don't, those blended airbrush, you don't get that, you know. That's where I always felt like
unique,
Platt
yeah.
stuff just needed, like I love, like Ligner finally, like Prophet issue 1 of the second series, I think is like the penultimate version, you know, where they figured out how to color his work until he got all clean. But like, I really wish you could go back to those plates on the first 5 issues and even the Moon Knight stuff and do a traditional painted version, you know, like.
You could. It would look better. I mean, yeah, absolutely. Yes. That's kind of, I think, what was in his head. Because, you know, like you hear that story about him, like, why did he leave Prophet? Well, they came in and he was working on this splash, and like he yelled at him that nobody would ever tell Mobius, you know, what to be drawing and blah, 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 blah. And like he compared himself to Mobius, and a lot of people get.
There's conflicting reports. Shelby Robertson told me once he used to go to his office, and every time he looked into Platt's office, he'd just be staring out the window, eating food, not working. So, you know.
Well, no, but yeah, like the one story, I've heard this from 5 guys that worked at Wildstorm independently, and not like me asking them like, hey, is this story true? Like, like they came in and he referred to himself as Mobius, and like I think this is what was in his head.
Yeah, he needed more Bisley and less Mobius in the work, dude. Something I don't know, for a second there, it just reminded me of like those Tales of the TMNT, you know? It's because of the green, but you know, I could see that being easily spoofed in classic Mirage, you know?
And that's like this series, I should mention, like, I mean, God damn, I mean, how beautiful is that, dude? You know, like who is doing this in like English comic books in 1988?
Right.
What kind of monumental leap forward? Like, sweet Jesus, man! Like,
yeah, some of the stuff's so dope. You could just make shirts out of it. You know,
like
you could just run this stuff on shirts and not even tell people it's from a comic. You know, like this is sick right here. Like this right here. I like this.
It's so dope, dude. There's so much insane imagery. There's like 200 pages of this, and there's not really throwaway pages. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you find pages where you're like, oh yeah, well he was just totally.
That's so Corbin.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Like, this is that Richard Corbin influence that I was talking about. Like, just it's like so permeating into his stuff.
You know, this reminds me of, remember when Savage Dragon got the shit kicked out of him by Overlord or whatever, and then he's like dragging his own body for like a whole issue like this, and his jaw was all like broken in 3 different spots in his arms. That's hilarious. I love this.
And like, you know, I should mention, like, if you're looking for heavy story, like super like, oh, I want really intelligent story, yeah, no, this is probably not going to be your bag. It's interesting stuff, and I do like how little they kind of lay into the sword and sorcery elements of it, because it's more mythological than anything else, which is, I think, the funnest part about the read to it, which is what allows the broad strokes to work story-wise.
It's probably the most romantic cover I've seen from Bisley. You know, like there's like this, the eyes and the flowers. You'll see a lot of that from him.
No, it's still, he's still holding on to some of that Frazetta influence at that point.
Yeah, I like that. All right, man. So Slaine the Horn God. I mean, that's Sienkiewicz, right? Same wheelhouse right there.
Oh, dude, Sienkiewicz. I mean, the people that like either I think it was probably a synergistic thing, you know, but like you know, the amount of people that had to have seen this and been like, oh well, I'm stepping up my game.
It's the era and techniques, and you know, it is what it is. Like,
because like I remember, I think it was
look at you can see some camera smears right here.
Yeah.
Looks like some off.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because like I think it was right around this era with Stray Toasters where like Sienkiewicz like ended up sending in one of his covers, and actually it had like a note in it that said "plug me in," and it had like a little plug, and you had to plug it in because it had flashing lights on it, and it was such a pain in the ass to shoot because they had to wait for the lights to light up because they turned on and off. Oh, it was crazy.
Like Sienkiewicz did that Dune. That was the first time I saw his work. You know, I was like, I didn't know what I was looking at. But I was like, this is amazing. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm like 7, you know, when that comes out. But I could see like Bisley getting the Highlander adaptation. He just turns dad in for the Kurgan, you know, and he was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
What is that? You know? Like, that is insane. All right, man. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, I would just, the last thing that I would say before I get off on another insane rant is I really appreciate Pat Mills as a creator, as a publisher. 2000 AD has been very important, pivotal. I know a lot of people are into Judge Dredd. I know they know that character. It's been really cool seeing the complete case files come out so people in the US can finally get access to all of that. You know, the bans have been lifted on the stories, so even the you know, banned stuff is getting published in the US. But really, Slaine just does not get the love that I think it really does deserve. This is an amazing piece of, if nothing else, of like real eye candy. If you were a Simon Bisley fan, you owe it to yourself to go and pick this up. And really, it would mean a lot to me to send that message that it is worth going back to these niche 80s publications that have this amazing art, and not just like digitally restoring them, not just, you know, repackaging them and throwing them back at people, but actually taking the time to appropriately handle the art the way that it never was before, so that people can appreciate it in a way that they have not. And it's $40, it's 200 pages, it's a monstrous thing. Please, I think you can get it on Amazon for even cheaper than that. I've seen it for like $25. Go and pick this book up. Send the message that we need to be restoring and properly handling art like this on a more consistent basis, because I want to see more of this stuff come out. Last rant of the night, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, and if you're a video game developer, for the love of God, you know what I mean? There's a whole nother look out there that has yet to be tapped, you know?
Absolutely. Get a good dev put together and hit me up. I know Pat. I'll pass it along. I'll make sure he sees it and reads it. I'm not joking.
Awesome find here, Uncle Jerk. I think it looks great as always, and it's always fun to see, you know, projects that obviously influence things that would come out 4 or 5, 6 years later, you know, in mainstream American comics. And I think this is pretty evident that this affected a lot of what we saw in the mid 90s. So
this is why Bisley was in TMNT, you know.
Yeah, I know. We got to cover that sometime because I got thoughts on that one. So all right,
body count, really?
Yeah. I'm not saying good or bad. I just have thoughts. So, you know, we'll leave it there.
I was like, geez, are Rob and I gonna come to Digital Blows?
Eventually we will. All right, everybody, thanks for hanging out on the Sketchcraft Shout-Out. Leave your comments below if you have anything to add to this, folks. You want any anecdotes and information, let us know. We're definitely I'm trying to figure out a good format for just going through the comments, right? And doing little follow-ups and stuff. So I want to be able to add that to like a special episode. Maybe we'll do memberships and do it there. You know what I mean? Where we can sort of address. That'd be kind of fun, right?
Yeah, so, I was gonna say I'll start getting on there and answering stuff. I apologize. I've been this last couple of weeks. I've been all busy.
So no apologies.
Well, no,
just
man,
no apologies.
My favorite thing is interacting. So
hell yeah, dude. You'll get to it. So everybody, thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you on the next Sketchcraft Shout-Out. Peace, everybody.
Peace.
What's up, crafties? Make sure you follow me, Sketchcraft, at YouTube and Instagram and everywhere else on socials, as well as Jerk Comics on YouTube and on Instagram and all the other socials. You can also check out my stuff at sketchcraft.com, so you can find my art, and you can buy my stuff at shopsketchcraft.com. If you'd like to get some comics I've made, Spawn Kills Every Spawn, issue 1 through 4 on racks at all your comic book shops right now. Issue 5 out December 18, 2024. And the trade paperback coming to you July 29th, 2025, all the way next summer, but we're gonna have cause to celebrate. Spawn Kills Every Spawn. Go get that right now. Support the old Sketchcraft, and we'll see you next time. Peace.